What's up, mamas? I'm Rebecca. You're watching the Reseller Mom Show, your place for reseller mom content to get more done, make more money, and stay sane while raising kids and reselling online. Today is episode number 2. I'm so excited for the Reseller Momversations. Can't even say my own series right. But I am very excited to have a reseller mom on the show that I've been watching for a while now, and I'm very excited to chat with her. It's our first time chatting, Becky Park. So welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. It's a new, show, a new series for me, a new idea of like actually reaching out to other reseller moms and saying like, hi, let's have a real chat. When you're doing your own YouTube, it's very much like you can just do what you want when you want, and you're not really accountable to anybody. And then once you start doing this, it's very scary to like actually be accountable and keep a schedule and, be, accountable and here for you to have you on and all of that. So it's new for me, but I'm excited. And I wanted to start off, the series with people that I've been watching for a while, or when I just really felt like, when you watch a YouTuber, you kind of connect with them, even though it's only one-sided for that little bit. So there's just a lot about your show that resonates with me, and really wanted to have you on, especially before you get back to school.
Oh my gosh, I know.
So go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about you, just in case they don't know. So that way they kind of get a little bit of where you're coming from.
Yeah. So like Maria said, my name is Becky Park. Oh my gosh, not Maria. I'm going crazy. That's who you interviewed right before me. Sorry. See,
okay.
Mom, and my
no worries.
Here. What's up? My daughter's tooth just fell out while she was eating her breakfast. She has no front teeth. Oh my gosh. You pulled it out. Here, I'll hold it for you.
Is it the first
is what Mom
one?
is being, right? It is literally like having someone right next to you. Oh my gosh. Like Rebecca said, and it's pretty cool because I don't know that I've met another reseller with our name, right?
Well, there's one other that I know, Rebecca Black, and I don't know her, but I know that she's a boss lady. And then that's why I wanted to ask you, are you actually Rebecca? I would assume with Becky, you're Rebecca, which I love. I've never been a Becky. I've always been a Rebecca. So it's kind of interesting because you don't look like the vision that I have of a Becky. Is the reason why I don't want people to call me Becky. For me, I picture like a farm person, like eating hay with like no teeth in the front, and like just like the Becky. That's a Becky to me. I don't know why. So you look completely not like that. So that's why I can call you Becky.
Oh, that's good to know. So my name is Becky. Actually, it is Rebecca, but I go by Becky, and I have for many years. Although I did go by Rebecca only like when I was in elementary school, but that's another story for another day. And I am a part-time reseller, and I say that because my full-time gig is as a high school choir teacher, which is kind of funny because when we're talking about the name Becky, and you know how Beyonce in one of her songs, she had that, whole little line with Becky with the good hair. So a lot of my students like to call me that, which is probably super inappropriate, but that's okay.
You seem like one of the cool teachers. So
I mean, I try not to at this point, but So I have this pretty busy life as a choir teacher because it's not just like the hours that I'm at school. It's also, like the rehearsals that happen before and after. It's, I'm tied up on a lot of weekends. I also am a mom, like you said, to 2 little kids. And so there is a lot going on, but I think because I love reselling and I love the opportunities that it's provided myself and my family, I don't know how, but I've been finding time to squeeze it into my life and, as well as YouTube and whatnot. So it has just kind of been forcing me to learn how to like manage my time a little bit better, which I probably needed to learn how to do in the first place anyway. But it really is like forcing me to treasure each and every like free minute that I have in my life and just find a way to properly allocate it.
Absolutely. And that's, for my channel, and I'm not, I don't think I'm an expert reseller. I don't think that I'm an expert sourcer or pricer or have any of those kinds of things to offer people. But what I do think I'm good at is speaking directly to moms and figuring out how to do something the most efficient way, the fastest way, the easiest way, and offer those kinds of like systems and procedures. Like I'm very analytical like that. So for me, that's like my shtick. That's why the Reseller Mom is all about getting more done and making more money. And then why I wanted to start Reseller Momversations is that stay sane part, that part where you just need to know that there's someone out there going through the same thing, and maybe our Instagrams look all pretty or maybe they don't, but like, it's crazy, it's shenanigans, it's teeth falling out while you're trying to do, you know, like total chaos. And I think it's nice because that was the reason why I started the channel to begin with. Because when I started about 3 years ago, even though there are reseller moms on YouTube, I didn't feel like they were speaking directly to me. And I've said this, you know, on a show that I've done by myself, and I've said it, you know, in other conversations, like I just didn't feel like they were saying it was okay to have the life that I had and doing what I was choosing to do, which was to resell while staying home with my son, and utilizing that part of your brain that, you know, needed to be like a professional in some way or needed to do something else, like not dinosaur train and not, you know, Paw Patrol kind of thing. And for you, obviously that would be a little bit different because you do have that. You have your choir, you have your teaching, you get to be with adults and then the older students, and you know, so you have that, but you probably just really get a kick out of thrifting and reselling, and that's why you do it. That's why you choose to fit it all in, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, I have such a profound respect for stay-at-home moms who are able to resell as well. I have actually a lot of friends in my local area who have started reselling because they've been watching kind of my journey.
Oh,
and
nice.
A lot of them are stay-at-home moms, and just hearing their stories of like, one, like just kind of how lonely it is, kind of like what you were speaking to, like you don't have colleagues that you get to touch base with every day, whether you love them or hate them, like just the fact that you can like have conversations with other adults. I had a friend who she used to teach English, and she was saying how she just felt like she was forgetting words because you know, as she was raising little kids, she couldn't even speak in complete sentences with them, and so she was like, I feel like I'm like getting dumber, like it's hard. So I feel
it's using a part of your brain that you didn't know that you didn't have. And so you had this other part of your brain that you thought was your whole brain. And then all of a sudden you have a kid, and I'd say it, I called the Geo, my son, he's 3.5, almost 4, that he short circuits my brain. Whether he's here or not, he has this power to literally fry whatever neurons or pathways or God knows what's in there, like completely shut it down. And if he talks, everything, you just can't. And I never knew. I had no idea that that was a thing. And I don't know if it's stay at home, not stay at home. I guess if I was going to an office, you know, when I had my old job, I worked in an office, and you wouldn't have a choice and you would adapt. And so you would know that your kid is safe somewhere, and then you can be your person. But when you don't have that and you're kind of responsible for them all the time in your physical space, you don't get that disconnection. And I had no idea. But and it's funny because I never thought I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. The plan was always to go back to work, and we did that, but we had a couple daycare snafus where we were like, oh no, like this is not going to work. And then we tried the nanny route, and then at that point I was like, I'm not paying somebody else that amount of money. I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm going to do it. It's going to be fine. This is going to be great. And I thought I was going to be this, like, you know, Martha Stewart person, Pinterest mom. Well, that went quickly out the window. So I'm like, no, I really don't like cooking that much. I don't really care if I get good at cooking that much. And I don't want to do all this other crap. Like, I don't want to make muffins. I don't want to make muffins. Like, muffins are fine, but I don't want to make them every day and have them look so nice. So reselling, and then the YouTube are kind of filling those things for me, you know, and feeling like I can contribute and all of that. So kind of beating a dead horse on that. But I did want to not forget to say and give you the opportunity, and maybe you've said it and I just haven't seen it in one of your videos, but your opening with the song that was one of your students or whatever is awesome. And I don't know what she has going on or if she has other things, but if there's an opportunity to, you know, promote her or talk, like, I just love that song. I like kind of sometimes rewind it just to hear it a little bit again. Like, I love it.
She's amazing. So her name is Tiana Steele, but I think that on social media and like on Spotify, iTunes, I think she goes by T Steele. So it's like T-I and then Steele as S-T-E-E-L-E.
Okay.
And if you go to any of my YouTube videos, I do have like her information in the description
Okay,
box.
and that's, yeah, I just didn't look at that.
No, that's okay. And there's so much stuff in there sometimes you're just like, you know, if it's not like the first thing.
Yeah, it's so cool. And you have a nice professional open. It's one thing I haven't really gotten to yet, like as far as having a channel, you know, I'm kind of slowly adding like things that I can do with my channel and tech skills, whatever, to my resume. But like, you know, having a nice opening, I haven't. So now, did you make that, or did you have somebody?
No. So I really didn't think I was going to start YouTube as early as I did. And the only reason I did is because a friend of mine, he lives in town and he's a videographer by trade. He's kind of freelance and he does some other stuff too. But he was just searching like on Instagram with the tag of our town that we live in. I don't know why, and I happened to have like an Instagram post that day where I was introducing myself because I had some new followers and stuff. And I never tag my location, but I happened to tag the city that I live in that day. So he found me and he's like, you have this whole different life that I didn't know anything about. And he's like, oh my gosh, like you're doing really well. And so we were just talking in like the DM section of the Instagram.
All about the DM.
Yeah, which was really funny because we're, you know, really close friends. We like text and stuff all the time too. But I was telling him that, you know, yeah, I'd like to, you know, take this even farther. And one day I do want to start Instagram, but I think I want to wait till I have like 10,000 Instagram followers. Cause I think at the time I had like 5,000. And he was like, no, like start now. And he was like, I will help you. I will come film for you. I'll edit. Cause awesome. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff, you know? So he came one day with his wife and they brought all their equipment and it was so professional. And then like that first video that he made for me, he said he was up to like 4 a.m. I mean, it just took him forever. And he made like a little bumper. And I gave him the song of my students because I was like, I think that the song would be perfect. And I want to feature her. So he did like my first 2 or 3 videos and they're so professional, so well done. And then he was like, hey, I'm really busy. Peace out. Like I can't really. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know how to do any of this. And it just really forced me to like open up my iMovie and just like figure things out. And I did. And he hasn't been back. I mean, we still like talk and we're still really good friends, but he has his own life and you know, he was doing it all for free. So he kind of set me up for success. And then he was just kind of like, okay, now you do it. And I'm thankful because it did kind of force me to learn this new skill set. But if it hadn't been for him, I would have never started on YouTube and I wouldn't have the cool opening and all that stuff.
The opening is awesome. Super jealous of that. At some point I will get situated with something and there's people that I can do. I also think, you know, maybe you can get a former student that's going into that or like like I'm all about the intern right now. Like not just for like cheap labor, but I always had good like mentor people. And so I feel like the mentor intern, you know, relationship is a nice relationship. And I'm sure you would feel that way because you're a teacher. I have no desire to ever be a teacher. Like for me, any non-adult in mass is like the scariest thing to me. My mom was a teacher for all, you know, all my life and way before. And so I have a great respect for teachers. That's why I totally get, I'm like, I have to get her before school because then her life's going to be crazy. And, you know, so I get all of that. But like for me, if you put me in a room full of like 35 adults, that's fine. Like I can handle that all day long. But 35 kids, even 5 kids, even 3 kids is like crazy town. But yeah, I think, you know, I would like to do more with interns, I think, in the future. A great two-way street if you treat it. If you treat it.
And I do actually have 2 students who are working for me. So
I was going to ask you to talk about that. I think that's, you know, maybe not everyone has that exact way that they can replicate, but if they are a mom with a job and looking to build their business more, maybe you can talk about that. Because I've talked about the people that I have helping me, but yours is different because they're students, younger. So I'm just curious how that even goes.
Yeah. So yeah, for sure. I have kind of this big network of people, you know, because of the fact that I teach and I have a lot of students. I have like a lot of current students and a lot of former students who are like graduating from college and stuff. And you know, if you don't have that sort of network, but there are a lot of just teenagers everywhere that want jobs, you know, so, but it does make it a little bit harder to figure out like, but who's actually going to do the work. So I had one student, like a former student of mine who I asked her to share my closet, but I think she just had too much going on at that time. So that lasted for like maybe a month. And then we were like, okay, let's move on. And, you know, but I have 2 students right now. I have one student who I did want her to like be my photographer and steam clothes and stuff like that. But in sitting down and talking with her, I was like, no, girl, like you have way too much going on this summer. Like she already had like 2 jobs. She was going to be in 2 musicals. She was, there was just so much going on.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I can do it. And I was like, no, like
Couldn't
you need
do
to
it. Yeah.
be a kid. So I think it's important if you can, one, like have a relationship with the person, but just get a gauge on, is this even something that they can realistically fit into their life?
Right.
So I asked her instead, I said, well, do you want to just share my closet once a day, like in the morning? Because that would take a lot of pressure off of me to like wake up super early before the kids and get a share, whatever. So we agreed to do that, and she's done a great job of that. Okay. And then I had another student who, because, I just know from like interacting with her on a daily basis that she's a hard worker. And I think the most important factor to think about when hiring a team is, are they teachable? Because most people have not taken hundreds and hundreds of pictures of clothes and like, they don't know what it is that you want or need. Yeah. So, just like, is she teachable? Does she take direction well? Like those were questions that I was asking myself about different people. So when I thought about this one particular student, I was like, oh my gosh, like she would be perfect because she craves like that feedback, So that's been really good to just kind of work with her throughout the summer and teach her how I personally like to have, the pictures of my clothes for reselling. And it's been great. Yeah. And I don't know. And obviously I talked to their parents first, and I was like, is it okay that, they work for me? And one of the kids' moms especially was like, I'm really excited for her to learn from your entrepreneurial spirit. And I was like, oh.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I think it gives such, a good avenue, especially for someone at that age that, like I say about Gio, I've taught him to be a yapper at this point. Like, shut up. And it's because we're home and we have the opportunity to talk all the time. And so, for a boy, especially at 3.5, some of them aren't as verbal as Gio is. And it's just because we talk all the time. And so I feel like, if any, like, maybe he doesn't know exactly which number is 4 at this moment. But like some days he does, some days he doesn't. But like I've taught him to talk. And if he can talk his way out of anything. I can already tell that like you can just give your kid or student or whatever some basic skills where if they don't have everything else, then it's okay, because maybe someday then as long as he could sell something, he'll be fine, like whatever it is. For you as a teacher, you're identifying that. I mean, it's, it's choir, so it's a different skill set because obviously they have to have hopefully, a natural gift or whatever. Yeah. It's not just about studying hard, but, you're able to kind of identify that maybe more easily than other people in potential worker. So that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, and do you find that like you still do some of it yourself and you don't give the student that helps you some things to photograph? So like, oh, this one I need to photograph and I'll just give her maybe the more easy ones or whatever. Cause I find like with my photographer, there's certain things that I still do. I don't give her everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've only taught her how to do like tops and bottoms and things like that. I haven't taught her like how I personally like to do shoes or bags. Not that like I do an amazing job with them. I literally
you just
grab shoes like on my futon, but it's still just like I feel like I not do a better job of, but I'm more cognizant of, really looking for flaws and, making sure that I take pictures of those things. So I do keep anything that's not like clothes and take photographs of that myself. I also will just keep anything that like doesn't need to be steamed. I'll just keep that and do it. But she has my steamer. So it's like, if it needs a good steam, it goes straight to her.
Right.
And so at the beginning, it was only just like you said, just kind of the easier stuff or the stuff that like I got it for free anyway. So it's not a big deal if the pictures don't look amazing. But as she's improved, like I just send her whatever, even if it's, really high dollar, I'm just like, she can do it. Like, it'll be fine. So. Yeah.
And is she's just doing photographs or is she doing, describing it or anything?
No. So she doesn't list and she doesn't edit the pictures at all. So she literally just takes the pictures. She created an album through, I don't know, just we both have iPhones. So there's something like the kids are so much more tech savvy than me too. Cause I remember being like, I don't know how we're going to get these pictures.
Right.
She's like, I already made an album. And I'm like, okay, like, sure. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So she just puts everything in there. And then when I don't have pictures of my own to list from, I pull from hers. And there are literally like hundreds of pictures in this album. So I am set for the next a few weeks, because it is, like you said, about to get crazy here. But
now, how many listings do you usually try to get up a day? Do you have like a particular number that you shoot for, or
so now I am on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari, and I try to list everywhere. My goal is 5. Now I am like using that new Chrome extension that everyone was like freaking out about, that List Perfectly one, and it has helped it go so much faster. So I think I can do like 10 if I want, but I think that when school starts, especially, I'm just gonna like say to myself, 5 is the goal, and I'm not gonna feel bad if I don't meet it, but I'm also not gonna like set myself up for failure if I'm like, I have to get 10 up every day, but it's just some days you get up a ton and some days you just don't. Like it just, and then I don't know about you, but I have kind of like a built-in time to do things like lists, because my son, he is 2 and a few months, but he is still like, he's crazy. He just does not want to give up this boob. Like, I don't know what's wrong with him, but at night, like I still have to nurse him to sleep. Like sleep training is like, we are so bad at it. Like our kid, anyway, but he like still nurses to sleep. So I have this like 30-minute window every night where I'm just stuck in bed. I can't move. I can't go anywhere. That's usually when I do my listings. So as much as it's like kind of frustrating because I can't do anything else, it does kind of force me to list at that time. So it's
right. That's good. And that's the thing. I mean, I think as reseller moms, then I was going to ask you about your kids. We were talking about all your workers, which is great, but then I did kind of circle back to like the mom stuff. So you have the 2.5-year-old boy, and then you have a older girl,
I have a 6-year-old daughter.
6-year-old daughter.
Has like 0 teeth in her mouth right now.
Well, that's what I was going to say. She's getting her teeth. My son just figured out that you lose teeth, and now he's like obsessively anxious about it and is so scared about it. I'm like, relax. It's going to be not a few years from now, and then you get other teeth. He's like, I don't want to lose my teeth. Like, oh my God. Like, he's like a neurotic, like just my husband and I are both equally weird and like crazy about stuff like that, but all different things. So poor Gio is just gonna get all of it. but yeah, I mean, so I just have the one. So I mean, you've got the 2, then you've got YouTube, you've got the teaching, you've got the reselling, and now you're finding help to help with the reselling. So that's good. But yeah, I mean, finding times like to list, like when you're nursing, like you just have to find those pockets of time. I did a post on Instagram about like, these are the things that I'm getting done while my son's in the bath. I'm sharing my closet. I'm playing alligator. We're FaceTiming with my mom. And then here's my husband taking a picture of all of that happening. Like you just figure out what you can do, what has to be done kid-free, what can't be done with a kid. It's like, you just find a way to slot it all in. So I mean, any tips you have or any other creative things that you do like that, I'd love to hear about it, because you have a whole other life than I do as far as having a job. Yeah.
I mean, I think, like you said, really kind of creating lists in your mind of what has to be done, like phones free, like, at what point do I really have to give 100% to my kids? And that's probably the part that I need to improve on the most. I'm the most guilty of like trying to multitask so much and not really like being able to enjoy that time with my kids. So like one thing that I just started doing with my daughter is we're reading James and the Giant Peach, and I can't like read and like share, and I can only be doing that one thing. And I think that's why she craves it so much, because I am kind of just like so all over the place a lot of the other times. So I'm trying to like schedule that kind of stuff in, like make sure that happens. But I think it's good to have lists in your mind of like, but when can I kind of multitask, and then to utilize every single moment to do that. So even things like standing in line at the grocery store while you're pumping gas, like because like you said, like even if it's only 2 or 3 minutes here, it could be that one time you share that item that, results in a sale, or maybe in that like 3 minutes while you're pumping gas, you could get a listing up really quick on Poshmark. So it's just recognizing when you have those moments and utilizing them, but also like not beating yourself up if you weren't super productive that day, because
I saw you were on Candy Crush, you said, instead of whatever. I was because I'm like, I watch all your videos, and then I realized that I wasn't following you on Instagram, even though I had messaged you to be on the show, and I'm like, why is this button blue? So I'm clearly not her. So then I went in and looked through, I'm like, what am I missing? And I'm like, she's like, so this is what I did. I went on Candy Crush, and then there was this other one where you were like, do you ever just think you're managing too many lists? And I'm like, oh my God, because my iPhone notes right now are like ridiculous. And I have to go in and actually make a point to clean them up because I start something like, okay, this is the stuff I have to do. Then that gets pushed away because I clearly don't have to do those anymore. And now these are the things I have to do.
Yeah. It's bonkers. I mean, it's crazy. And I have like, I'm also like super into like planning, and there's like this whole different sector of people on like YouTube and Instagram that are just all about planning, and it's crazy. But I also got into that just because I was trying to like figure out my life, and you know, there were many different things going on. But I think too, like one thing that I do pride myself in is I really do keep work at work and I don't bring it home with me, which is kind of easy to do in the sense of like, I'm not a math teacher, so I don't have to bring stuff home to grade or anything like that. Yeah. But I even like really try to make it a point, like not to check my work email, not to, you know, because it's like, I give so much of my life to work as it is.
Yeah.
So I try not to bring it home. The only thing that does happen is like students will text me and stuff. And that's just in this day and age, especially with like the kind of teaching that I do, the fact that a lot of these kids, I have them for like 4 years, you know, that's kind of inevitable, and that's fine. But as far as like work stuff, like lesson planning or, you know, like I don't do any of that at home. So I think that helps to kind of just like put that divide and say like, no, you have to stay there. Because right now I'm in this part of my life.
And if you can't say, then you don't have to, because I definitely don't want you to get in trouble. But do you bring any of your other into the job then? Because obviously you have like planning periods, you have your lunch. Like, do you do some sharing or listing or reselling when you are at school, so some of it comes in even though the teaching isn't coming home, kind of thing?
Yeah, I do share my closet like once during school, and it's during my lunch because I get like a 50-minute lunch and it doesn't take me 50 minutes to eat. And I also, you know, it's like, it's kind of interesting because I'm at school for so long, but I'm only actually standing in front of a group of kids teaching for like 3 hours of the day, because the rest of it is like I'm doing study halls or I have prep periods. And so sometimes there are days too when I'll, you know, list a little bit here and there or whatever. But typically my job is so, you know, even though I'm not in front of kids so much, I'm planning so many different things. There are like concerts, and I have to write programs, and, you know, we're going on this trip, so I have to book like hotels, and there's like so much stuff that goes into it that usually I don't have that much time. But I do, like, again, even within my workday, like lunch is for me. So I will eat my lunch while watching like a YouTube video or a Netflix show or something. And I will like share my closet when I'm done eating. So
because I think that like if I was still working, because I had an office job and so it wasn't teaching or anything, I had, you know, we would have meetings, I would be with clients. I was in hospitality sales, so it was a lot of, you know, dealing with clients and phone calls and stuff. But I, you know, there's that downtime at your desk, and I'm like, I could totally see that I would be like rather sharing than like making a sales call or like, you know, I'd be so excited because I got a sale. Meanwhile, I'm driving a client to an appointment to visit a hotel or something. I'm like, I'm kind of happy that I didn't have that, because I could see how I would choose because this is for me, it's your business, it's all on you, you know, over that. But I think with yours, you know, again, it's a little bit different because, like I said, my mom she was a social studies teacher for like almost 40 years, and now she's retired. But, you know, you do have that ebb and flow a little bit of your periods and you know, how it all goes. But yeah, I could totally see that.
Like I went and got my hair done not too long ago, and my hairstylist was like, because she knows I sell on Poshmark, and she's like, one of our receptionists is just on Poshmark all day, every day. Like she's just sitting at that desk, just sharing her closet. And I'm like, it's, you know, if she doesn't have anything else to do, like, I don't blame her. And sharing your closet is one of those things, like, it's so mindless. Sorry, there's this like little bug flying around. It's so mindless that you can do it and have a full-fledged conversation. You can do it while, I mean, you know what I mean? So that is one of those things that, like, if something doesn't require like 100% of my brain, like it only requires like 99%. I'm like, okay, I can share while I'm talking to you. Like I share a lot while I'm talking to my husband.
Shareable activity.
Yes, you know, so.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. Now I did want to ask a little bit about your sourcing, because you just did a video about liquidation, which I've dabbled in a little bit. So how did you like, I didn't get to watch the whole video.
It was long.
I haven't got it listed yet, but how are you finding that? Like the idea of items that you don't get to choose come to you, but they are new with tags. Maybe you could find stuff, you know, like because you're going through an evolution if that's a direction that you're going versus hitting up your sales or whatever. So I'm curious how you find that.
Yeah. So I think that when it comes down to it, one of the reasons I got into reselling in the first place was, yes, like you can make good money, but also like I love shopping and I love thrifting and I love just that idea of like being on a treasure hunt and finding good stuff. So I will never give it up. Yeah. And I will always make time for it because it is so much fun.
Yeah.
Now I have dabbled in like the wholesale thing, like you said, and I also get just a lot of stuff donated to me. Like I belong to a pretty big church and I've been pretty vocal, you know, even like over on my personal Facebook and stuff about what it is that I do on the side. And people have just been so generous.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And I mean, people are not like dropping off their Lululemon or, you know, whatever, but it's still stuff that's like in really good shape. Sometimes people will bring me stuff that's new with tags. And generally it is stuff that I pass on at the thrift stores.
Right.
So it's been interesting to like list that stuff and for some of it to see it move so quickly and for me to be like, okay, like maybe I do need to be picking this up, you know, so it's kind of been a free education in what will people buy? That's because it's obviously stuff that people have bought because they have it in their house and now they're just getting rid of it for whatever reason.
Now, so what would you say, like, do you have any, like, I'm just curious not to put you on the spot, but like, would it be like Old Navy or would it be, you know, like, I'm curious, like what kind of
Old Navy is a prime example, like Old Navy, Forever 21, a lot of that fast fashion, like I don't even, you know, I don't waste any moments on it at the thrift store. I'm just like, I see the tag and I pass, but
me too.
When I get it for free, it's like crazy. Like a lot of times my Forever 21 stuff will get the most likes, you know, in the shortest amount of time. Old Navy stuff, especially over on like Mercari, sells like that, especially if you find men's pieces. So
like
it's
how much? Like
not for that much, right? So like I sold like cargo shorts over on Mercari for like $15 with free shipping or something, you know, but it's just so fast and it's so easy and it's not listed for very long. So I'm like, like I'll take that $8 or $10 or whatever. And for me, again, it's worth it because I didn't have any money into it.
Right.
So, you know, but I think it also happens because I'm not going to turn my nose up at it right when I get it and just be like, I'm not going to list it or, you know, and, you know, I was getting a lot of those donations at a good time when I was training my photographer for the first time too. So it was kind of like, okay, here's some kind of low risk pieces. I don't really care how these pictures look. And some of them were kind of, you know, rough to begin with, but it was a lot of like Old Navy. It was a lot of Forever 21. I'm trying to think like Charlotte Russe. Not once have I ever picked up Charlotte Russe, but like someone gave me, you know, like 3 or 4 pieces. So I tried that. Just a lot of the fast fashion stuff. And then even the liquidation box, it was all like Macy's.
Yeah.
And I was even surprised with like the response to the video. Like I had a lot of people reach out and email me and just be like, hey, I'm interested in this piece and this piece and this piece. And we were able to, so, you know, I think one thing I learned from that video is like size is a huge thing. Like they sent me a lot of pieces in larger sizes. And so there were a lot of people who were like, oh, I'm interested in these things. And they all happen to be, you know, larger pieces.
Yeah.
So that to me was also like just this reminder of, hey, if it's cute, even if the brand recognition may not be there, it's still worth picking up, you know, like if it's
the Styling Company and JM Collection and Charter Club and all those, they sell. I mean, I did a plus size Macy's liquidation and then just recently I did an all over the place kind of Macy's liquidation a different way. And, you know, not everything is going to sell. Not everything is going to be high dollar enough. Some of the more t-shirt type things go for $19. So how much are you possibly going to sell it for? But, you know, those I just took like to the consignment store and offered them.
Oh, that's smart.
And then, you know, stuff that they say it's a $70 shirt or a $60 shirt. I'm like, you are crazy. People like, you know, because they want those big sales, you know, to draw people in 50% off or whatever. But there's a market for it because I've done pretty well with them. I wouldn't say that they've blown out, but I've had good, consistent profit on, what's my timer? On, you know, those house brands that you wouldn't normally think of. I don't buy them anymore unless they're new with tags.
Yes.
Or if they came to me in a liquidation sort of way. I wouldn't buy them at the thrift. But, you know, there's a market for it. So I wouldn't totally discredit it for sure.
No, for sure.
But so that's good. So at least you maybe are finding that you'll do a combo, still do the thrifting, but not completely relying on the thrifting and kind of getting some stuff come to you.
Yes. And I'd say my closet right now is probably a mix of like 50% stuff that I've thrifted, and I don't know if that figure is actually accurate, but that's what I feel like it is. It's like 50% stuff that I thrifted and 50% stuff that people have given to me. I haven't listed a whole lot of the liquidation stuff yet, but
yeah,
yeah, it's like 50-50, I'd say. So I'm happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for me, the answer is definitely going to be a combo, because the problem for me, because I have helpers, I feel accountable to them to have a certain amount of work for them every week. You know, my virtual assistant, and then also my, physical photographer person. And so if I want to grow, I need to source so much so that they have consistent work. But I also want to source better things so that I have a better profit margin. Sometimes those forces counteract each other to where, like, I want to buy only $10, $30 things. But I have a photographer here that I told her I need her to do 70 things this week. So what am I going to do? So now I've got to, have a little bit of both. That's why I liked ThreadUp for a while to get those rescue boxes. But lately, so I don't know how I feel about that. But
and ThreadUp just changed their consigning formula or whatever it is, whatever it's called. I guess, before when you sent stuff in, you could get an upfront payout on some of your pieces. And I think they did away with that. So I know. So now you have to wait for it to sell through ThreadUp. Because that was one thing I was utilizing too. I mean, not a whole lot. I had sent in, a couple boxes, and then I used the credit that I earned from what had sold to get rescue boxes. Like you said, I only got one. And I was like, I'm going to keep doing this because it worked. But now that they did away with the upfront payout, it's kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about letting it ride and seeing what would sell with them, but that upfront payout was so tempting. And I was like, if I could, I sent in a few boxes at the same time. Plus I had a referral credit because somebody was so nice from, the YouTube channel that they signed up, and I was like, yay, $10.
Yeah.
So I tried to combine it all and get like as close to a free box as possible. And I was like, no, I just can't let it ride because you just don't know. And then what if it doesn't sell? I'd rather take the $1.10 now than the $3.80 later or not. So, and I don't have a lot of mind space to devote to ThreadUp. Exactly. Very mindful thing. Send it in, hope for the best, get what you get. And it was stuff I was ready to part with anyway. So that worked in that way, but now I'm gonna have to look at that because that was, that's the thing. It's like you make something part of your business model and then something is, and now you have to retool, and like I've got the brain power for that. Like I do not anymore.
I know it's too much to keep track of. Yeah.
But well, I'm gonna start wrapping it up because I've got to head to the eye doctor for like the past couple of days ever since I was sick and had like a really high fever. Like this eye is just like decided to take a vacation.
Oh my gosh.
I kind of don't see it. Like, I mean, I can see, but like, it's weird. So I have to get to this eye doctor. It's like, am I ever going to see things again? I don't know. Cause I'm like, I need to go to the bins and I'm afraid that I'm going to look at a shirt and like completely miss the stain on like this side because my eye's not working. Like, I don't know, but it's neither here nor there. But I appreciate you coming on. This was really fun. I think I wanted to keep it to 30 minutes just in case you never know. Like if you have a chat with someone and then it like goes nowhere, you don't want to be on the hook for an hour with them. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll keep it to 30 minutes. That way, even if it's not a good conversation, we'll both be on the safe side. But everyone I've done so far, I've done 2. But they've been great calls and I'd love to do it again. So I hope you'll come back again. And I do appreciate your time. Are there any final thoughts you want to leave with the reseller moms out there? Any words of wisdom or bits of anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just be kind to yourself. You have to take care of yourself first. That's something that my mom and my mother-in-law are always reminding me of. They're like, if you're not doing well, you are of no service to anyone else around you. Like I can't really do much for my kids. I can't do much for my students. I can't do much for my husband. So you really have to take care of yourself first. Listen to your body. If you need a break, take a break. Like the world is not going to collapse around you. Just be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't waste too much time comparing yourself to how other people are doing around you. Because you don't know their story. You don't know what's going on. And just be kind.
Yeah, that's what I say. Start where you are and do what you can.
Exactly. 100%.
Hope for the best.
Yes.
But I appreciate it. Now let everyone know your YouTube channel. I'll link it later, but just to verbally say it, your Instagram and your YouTube.
So you can find me on Instagram and on YouTube under Becky Park on Poshmark. And I think that's it. And then like all my reselling platforms, I think it's just Becky Park. So pretty simple.
No, I love it. I love the rhyme. I think it's it's so perfect. Like the perfect name for doing this. Yeah. But awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing this. And
for having me, Rebecca.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully we can do it again. And for everyone watching, this is the second one. So leave your comments below with feedback. Tell us, you know, what went well, what didn't go well. Do you want me to have more specific questions, or do you like that it's just kind of a let's see where the 30 minutes takes us kind of thing? To me, I like that, but it may be too loosey-goosey for some people. So I'm just really curious what people think. So subscribe to me if you haven't. If you came over from Becky's channel, go subscribe to her. If you haven't seen her yet, just give everybody, you know, some good reseller mom love, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much. Have a great day.